How is everyone doing? I don't know if I've given my thoughts on everything that's going on or has gone on between Bungie and Sony and people's reaction to Destiny 2 being over, um, the talk about Marathon and what's going on. I mean, obviously, I've kept up with all the news and watching everyone's reactions, but for me, I definitely wanted Destiny 3. I signed the petition along with the other, what, almost, was it like 350,000 signatures? So I wanted to show my support in that way. I don't know. I guess I don't have a problem with Destiny 2 being over because I felt like it should have been over long before. I think when the devs knew the game had gotten too big, instead of vaulting content, I think that that should have been the end of the game right there. So in my mind, we should have been on Destiny 4 by now. Um, the game's, entirely, it's just too big. And I feel like, you know, we should have moved on by then because that way, once you have too much, you're getting too much content in the game's getting too big, you cut it off right there. You can bring in new players through Destiny 2. And I don't know what you call from the vault to the content vault till now. I don't know what you call that. I don't think it's enough to have a Destiny 3, but it's something else, right? Um, but yeah, that's the only way that you can still give new players a really good experience of coming into the game. And at the same time, you're not vaulting content, and the content that we paid for, always have access to it. So yeah, at this point, I think that we should have been on Destiny 4 by now, or whatever they were gonna, whatever they were gonna name it. But yeah, I just think that's how I would have handled it because vaulting content was just a really bad idea. Sunsetting um, was a really bad idea. So that's where I am with that. Now, I am in the process of trying a new setup with my stream. So I did get the A50s, um, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but um, funny enough, I bought a Sony TV, so I'm not going to tell Acecross about that. But they have the best OLEDs on the market, so I went ahead and did that. It's just, yes, I wanted Destiny 3, but at first I thought that Sony purchasing Bungie was going to be a good idea because I thought that we would have better leadership from Sony. And now, the more I've seen from Sony's leadership, it's like they don't have a good sense of direction either. So, what'll be really bad? If we annoy the crap out of Sony for a Destiny 3 and then the leadership at Bungie doesn't know how to make a good game anymore. So Destiny 3 comes out and it's not in a good place at all. And then where is that going to leave us? Where is that going to leave the gaming industry as a whole? So yes, I want a D3, but I'm really nervous about finding, like, do we have the right people in place to make a D3? Because if you're saying I'm supposed to trust in Sony, at this point I don't. Do I trust in Bungie? At this point I don't. But we need a D3 made with the types of stuff that we've been talking about for years. So I don't know. We need the game, but we need to put the game in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing with it and will steer the direction of the game in the right direction. I don't know if I just don't see that right now in terms of like where are we going? Who's gonna manage the entire project? That's gonna take what, 5, 6 years to complete? Like who's gonna manage it? So with that in mind, I don't know. I don't know. Because we keep hearing stories about certain things that the devs wanted to put in Destiny and they just weren't allowed because there was not enough, um, or leadership didn't see any return on investment with it. And it's just, I don't understand that type of thinking because if you don't put the type of stuff that we want in the game, why would anyone play it? You know? And if people aren't playing the game, there's no money coming in from the game. So that part I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think the update that's coming on Tuesday is going to be very good. I think that update should have been the update that we got. Was it 2 years ago now for the final shape? Um, that was the update we were supposed to get a couple years back, right? Um, for sure. You know, that's the update that we were supposed to get 2 years ago, and I just don't know how how the players knew that the final shape was the end of Destiny 2. How did the developers or the leadership not know that was the end of Destiny 2? And in knowing that, Destiny 3 should have already been halfway done, almost done, 60, 70% completed by then. And then they give us a June 9th update 2 years ago. Um, and then at that point, fast forward to what would be 2026, Destiny 3 would be coming out in the fall, most likely fall, winter. And you have a much smoother transition. But again, it goes back to just who's making these decisions. I don't know. I don't know who's making these decisions. But I haven't, in terms of leadership, I haven't seen or heard of anyone from Bungie or Sony that's very good in that department. Now, as far as Marathon goes, I don't have a hatred towards Marathon. I'm pretty much indifferent to it. Um, I do think that because Sony ridiculously overpaid to buy Bungie Studio, you need $3.6 billion, and you're not going to get that from one IP, whether it's Marathon or Destiny. You're just not going to get it from one IP. So I hope that they understand what, which I don't think that they do, because they start, you know, after the final shape, there was a bunch of layoffs, and after the June 9th update, they're talking about a bunch of layoffs. They don't understand that not only did they spend the 3.6 billion, if you want these games to be live service, you're going to need a massive amount of staff. You're going to need employees, like a lot of them, and not just for the one of the games, for both of them, in order to crank out and create that much content, the amount of content that you would need to create. And it's just not just throw anything out there, but high quality content. In order to do that, you're going to need a massive amount of developers, voice actors, everything. But that's the only way that you're going to get your, that's only was Sony's going to get their 3.6 billion back. But if they try to scale everything down and be cautious and play it safe and everything, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I think, and I've probably said this before, the community, I feel, is not upset because Marathon exists. It's the fact that they pulled devs off of Destiny 2 to all these other projects, including Marathon, and Marathon is getting the brunt of the backlash because it's actually out. It's live now. It's been released. And these other projects, that they're talking about, I have no idea um, what these games are about. I just don't know. So Marathon represents all of them, all of those incubation projects, whatever other stuff they were working on, and they pulled the devs off of Destiny 2. And Destiny 2 was the only game making the studio money for years, for over 10 years. So it's bad all the way around. Oh my gosh, I haven't used this in so long. But that's where we are. I'm happy that D2 is over, but I just think that the developers, instead of firing everyone or firing half the staff or firing even more people, you not only do you need to keep these people on staff, you need to hire back everybody that you fired last year, everyone that you fired after the final shape. Like you need all these developers back in order to make Destiny 3 and get Marathon going in the right direction. And I don't think that you can have developers jumping back and forth between the two games. I think you need to hire in a way that you're either going to be Team Destiny or you're going to be Team Marathon. Because I think you have to be focused, just hyper focused on what you have to accomplish within these games. I think they both, well, Marathon needs PvE. Um, I'm not sure entirely like sure what direction they want to go in now with Marathon, but they definitely need more players in the game. And I didn't buy Marathon because I don't play extraction shooters at all. Um, I don't play Arc Raiders or what was the other one, Turkov or whatever it's called. Like I don't play extraction shooters, so that's it. Just didn't interest me. But I've said before, put a story campaign in Marathon, um, PVE maps, that sort of thing. Start, explaining more of the lore, stuff like that. Then I think, I I'd consider it more, giving it a chance. But other than that, it's just like it just doesn't interest me. Now, as far as Marathon's art style, I don't know what some folks see in it because I'm more in the camp of it doesn't grab me at all. Does it look terrible? No, but some of the design in the forms, in the colors, I mean, it's close. Uh, it's just it looks like it just looks like bad design. It looks like lazy design. When you have the weapons looking like blocks, just wooden blocks with color painted on top, it just looks like lazy design. Um, Characters, I just didn't, you know, they just don't jump out at me at all. I saw one of the new skins for Marathon, and I think was it pink? Is it pink or red? But anyway, one guy was mad because it cost $19 for a skin, and then the character itself doesn't look great, but they've got all the. It's either like a pink magenta or it's like shades of red mixed in. Um, like look at what I'm playing now. Like look at my character. I'm just saying. I'm used to um Bungie's design being, you know, like what's uh one of my favorites that I'm tempted to buy. Here it is. Look at this. That is character design. I mean, this thing looks awesome. Of course, you can't play the game and it drops as like these pieces drop as rewards. You just buy them through Eververse. But that's the point is the look of this ornament set is amazing. And they know it's amazing, which is why they only put it in Eververse so that they can have people spend another $15 on the game. Um, at least another $15. If you want to switch all three of your characters into this Valkyrie set, was $45 for Hunter, Titan, Warlock. So that's good. That's good design. So it's not like I'm trying to give Bungie a hard time. When they make good work, I'm going to say, this is good work. This is good design. This is good color. This is good storytelling. And if it's bad, people are going to say it's bad. That's all there is to it. It's not like we're trying to get the devs fired and put down their work and all this stuff. If it's good, we're going to show up. We're going to say it's good. If it's bad, we're still going to show up most of the time, but it's like, hey, this is not this is not good. So because I know that they can make work like this, I looked at Marathon and I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna cut it. Mm-mm. Nope, 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 no. Ooh, okay. I mean, look at this one. Another one of my favorites. It's good. I mean, the design. That's good design. So it's like, the saying, like you told on yourself. It's like Bungie told on themselves. So we know this where the ceiling is of what they can hit in terms of designing the gear, designing characters. It's like we know how good they are at it. So if you come to us with characters that look like the characters in Marathon, we're gonna look at you and say, "What is this?" You have to go back and do something, do something else with these characters. Do something else with the design because we know that y'all can do better than what that is. I don't know. This is actually pretty good too. Look at his helmet. It's not bad. Not bad. I don't like it better than the Valkyrie set, but it's not bad. Yeah, so they set the standard for sure. You know, they set the standard for sure. I actually bought these robes because I like the look of them. What was it, like $6, $7, whatever, for a chest ornament. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what Sony's gonna do because they're trying to save face, save money, and as I probably said before, like this is what happens when a corporation or corporation type thinking takes over an industry, like any industry. It can be health industry, food industry, gaming industry, um, the housing market, all of that. It's like the corporate way of thinking has just spread into everything. And what I mean by corporate way of thinking, the main goal, the first priority is to make money. That's it. It's like they don't have a passion for what they're actually doing. They're just looking at the numbers of how much can we get out of this. That's all it is. It's gotten into sports, it's gotten into everything. And that's the mindset. It's like how much money can we get out of this? And so the pushback is coming in specifically for gaming. If you want the money, you're going to have to make a good game. The story is going to have to be good. The character design is going to have to be good. You're going to have to make a good game in order for people to want to pay for it. If it's $40, $60, $70, $100, it's going to have to be really good. But it's like the corporate thinking is we want to make as much money as possible from the players without while spending as little as possible on what we create. And then they want to call it a AAA game. And it just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You want to spend as little as possible, cut as many corners as possible, but call it a AAA game so that you can charge a AAA price on the game. It's not going to work like that. Now, in terms of the politics, that's also it's just getting dragged into everything. It's gotten dragged into gaming. It's gotten dragged into films. Um, Politics has gotten dragged into a lot of stuff, and that's even worse because it's like you guys know the that rule when we're having Thanksgiving or Christmas dinners and stuff like that. There's a rule when our families get together. And I don't know anyone who doesn't have this rule. When everyone comes together for these family gatherings, what are the things that you don't talk about? You don't talk about politics and you don't talk about religion. Why don't we talk about those things? Because you start talking about politics and religion, it's not going to be long before a few things. People get into a fight, people start leaving, or people get into a fight and start leaving. And then that's going to affect the next holiday gathering that you have. So you don't talk about those things. When we all come together as a family, we need a space of common ground. You know what I mean? Like common ground. Here's all the things that we agree with, and we're going to stay here. Now, once, the dinner and the holidays, whatever is over, of course, we have all these conversations going back and forth throughout the year. But whenever, people flying from out of town and all this stuff, you don't want to get together face to face like that and just argue about politics and religion and all this other stuff. It's just like you don't want to do that because you're wasting that moment of the family get together. So, with that said, I don't know why they're dragging this stuff into gaming or into movies or into anything else. It's just like you're pulling when you release a game, when you release a movie, you're pulling people from all walks of life. If you want the movie to be as successful as possible, you make it as accessible as possible to just the general public. But when you use your your career, your platform, whatever it is, and to say you want to say this particular thing about politics, or you want to say this particular thing about religion, or you want to say this particular thing about something in society, y- you really do have to be careful with that because That the conversation can go really wrong really fast, and the next thing you know, people aren't even talking about what happened in the movie, or talking about what happened in the game. They're talking about, this is your truth, this is my truth, and you're wrong because this, I'm right because of this, and it's just like you just can't play a game or go watch a movie. It's supposed to be a form of entertainment that people from different walks of life can come in. You sit in the theater, or you sit at your PC, you sit at the gaming console, your friends get jump into the chat and you play, or you watch the film. And you can't do that when you bring up certain certain things. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't talk about this stuff at all, but I feel like in society we do need spaces where we just have to agree, like, okay, once you come past this line, this is where our common ground is going to be. And we can't bring all that other stuff into it. We just can't bring all the other stuff into it. I don't know. I don't know. Because it's bad, because these days you can't you it's like everybody's walking on eggshells. If you disagree with someone about something, you're supposed to cancel them. They lose their job or their career. They lose opportunities. They get kicked out of the club or whatever, and they get labeled all kinds of names because they disagreed with whatever. They just don't see things the same way that you do. And it's just bad. Trace to the face, rapidly defeat. Do I have time to do this? A little bit. I mean, when I go to work, and I work from home most of the time for now until we go back to the office probably later this year. Even in the team chat, there are certain things that I don't bring up. Mm-mm. You just leave it alone. Even if the conversation starts going in that direction, it's like, let it go. Let it go. But I have noticed that I don't comment online as much because, as I said before, I'll be watching a video and the person will say, leave your comments, and let me know what you think. And it's like, for crying out loud, every time I leave a comment, someone has to tell me that my comment doesn't make sense, or my comment is wrong, or something. You know, they have to tell me. And it's like that's not necessary. I didn't put my comment here to get your opinion. I just didn't. I put my comment down because I have something to say. And if you disagree with what I say, it's fine, but you don't need to tell me that. You don't need to tell me when you disagree with something that I've said. Like you just don't need to tell me that. Cuz they end up telling me in the rude way. They just can't say, I agree or disagree. This thing is acting really jittery. Yeah, I can't control the controller. Yeah, it's floating. Okay. So it's so jittery. All right, so that's not going to work. Darn it. Yeah, so my camera changes on its own. Okay. Um on a totally different subject, I got the A50s, A50X from Astro. I have my capture card hooked into the dock for the A50s. Um but it's lagging a lot. So I don't think that I'm going to be able to use my capture card with this. Even though I found out online um, how to get it to actually show up, but it's lagging a lot with the controller. It's just that signal is not good. The only other thing I'm thinking is if I wire the controller, I wonder if that'll help it. I wonder if that'll help. And if that's the case, I'm going to need a longer wire. But you guys can tell me what you think, what your thoughts are about the whole thing. And if you haven't heard me say it before, I've been playing Destiny since The Dark Below, and it wasn't even my game. um, Let me try to find this. Yeah, but it wasn't my game. One of my college roommates bought it, and he was into World of Warcraft. He was trying a new game or trying to see if he wanted to go over to I think it was a PS4. Was it three or four? I think it was three at that time. But yeah. Oh, so now I come to think of it, it was a four. He got a PS4. And he couldn't get me to play WoW. I wasn't really into World of Warcraft. So he was like, try this game. And it was Destiny 1. And ever since then, I was I was hooked onto it. I was definitely hooked to it. So I think it's over 10 years, right? I think it's over 10 years. Let me see how this works or feels. Is it smoother? No, it still feels jittery. Yeah, it still feels jittery. So I will, um, I'll switch it out. I'll switch it out. I'll take the capture card off and just go through the dock for the Astros. Um, I don't know why my camera's moving so much. I think I got tracking on it. I think that's what it is. Uh, but yeah, I'm figuring out the whole thing because I upgraded everything in here. Um, so I gotta tomorrow. I'll figure out what I want to do with the camera because I also have the. Where's the other one? I have the MacBook camera. Here it is. So I don't know. I just thought the entire thing is disappointing. I wish that we as people knew how to talk to each other without all of the laughing emojis and the snarkiness and the attitude and all that type stuff. It's like if you disagree with someone, you can express that without loud, rude, obnoxious, all that type stuff. It's like you can say what you want to say without all of that. And it's like the more that we've gotten into social media and people are just going off of knee jerk reactions, they're just saying whatever comes, like the first thing that comes to their mind and throwing it out there. And there's no real thought of how is this going to make this person feel if I say this to them in this tone. Um, the tone, the attitude, because a lot of times it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And we don't know how to say things without just the tone is completely off. So that's what we have to fix. I guess as society, that's what we have to fix. And I'm not sure how I want to address it. Um, because I know I want to get back into writing screenplays, but I don't know in terms of story how I can write it out without being too direct and preachy and talking down to people and all that type stuff. So one of the movies that I really like um, that did this very well was Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, where you knew the principle behind the film, like the message of it, about father relationship with his son and how much attention he paid to him and the whole thing, telling the truth and all this stuff, right? But they told it in a way, they created the story in a way that it was so funny that you knew what they were getting at, but it wasn't boring. It was hilarious in how they just shared and told, this important principle that we're supposed to learn. Um, and I think that's how movies and even video games should do it. And that's not what's going on right now. Right now, it's just, even if the message in itself is right, it's being told in a way that people can't swallow it. It's just too abrasive. It's just jamming something down your throat. And it's like, no one wants that. No one wants a message to be jammed down their throat. Nobody wants that. So it's not even as much as the message is wrong. It's just the way that you talk to people. It's like it's not working. And that's in movies and in video games, that's the complaints that I see. It's like and I'm looking at people's complaints and they'll be like, this person said this or they're doing it. In and of itself, I see what's going on. Um, but there's no finesse. It's just hammer to nail. This is what it is. And if you don't like it, then something's wrong with you. And then you got a bunch of different types of phobias and all. And it's like, it's not helping. It's not helping. It's actually making the situation worse. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to, because there's definitely things that need to be addressed in society. And if you want to address it through video games or through films, if it doesn't have any finesse, if it doesn't have, if it's not, if the message isn't given in a way that's easier for people to swallow, it's not going to go very well. Even if you have a good point, it's not going to go very well. So I don't know. I don't know. But I definitely have to work on it. I'm almost finished with my upgrades and the things that, you know what, I started with upgrading my home office space and I ended up upgrading the entire apartment, which I didn't. That's not necessarily what I was supposed to do. but I'm actually happy with how everything turned out. Um, I just have to get all the details straightened out, all the kinks out, because I want to be able to, either if I'm in this room or in the office space, have access to the consoles and everything else that this stuff is connected to. And it's just getting the wires correct, but I don't know. I think, and this will be my last thought, with Destiny 3, we're literally going to have to tell them, like, someone needs to come up with a list of what's supposed to be in the game. And not only what's supposed to be in the game, but how we're supposed to play in the game. We don't want a bunch of stuff in the portal. We don't want the power grind to be the cornerstone of how the game is supposed to be played. Oh my gosh. The dedicated servers that I think they gave the Marathon, they need to give the D3. I think that we have to be more specific. Um, and we have to tell the developers what we want in the game in a respectful manner. It can't be the yelling and screaming and the name calling and the and all the others. No, just we have some growing up to do. We have to hold um, this conversation like mature adults and just say we like the game. We appreciate everything that the developers have done to this point. Has there been mistakes? Absolutely, but where else am I supposed to go in terms of an FPS like this? So we have to have that conversation in a respectful way and say this is what we think should be in the game. This is how we should play the game. These are our ideas. And this is not only want what we want in the game, but why we want certain things in the game, why certain things matter that should be in the game. Because it's good. It's a good game. It is. I tried um, Borderlands and different types of games, stuff like that. I always come back to D2. Um, I always come back to this game. So I have other work to do as far as in my home office in the studio. I still have pieces to put together there. And for my studio, I want to be able to record the podcast whether I'm in the home office area or whether I'm in this room. Because in this room, it's to the point where now the background would look a lot better. So that would be a good improvement. But yeah, I'm just going to whew, just focus on my work, focus on what I need to do because it's a lot of stuff I need to do. Um, and then next year, when my lease is up here in this apartment, I definitely want to, at the very least, rent a house because um, I've definitely run out of space in here. So I need more room. I need more room. And it's a little difficult because I'm a bit, well, more than a bit spoiled. I like staying on this part of town, but on this side of town, it's more expensive and it's less space in the apartments. So I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna get, you know, past this point, but um I'm looking forward to that. And I am excited about Tuesday. I'm going to be ready for it. I'm definitely going to be ready for it for sure. I don't know when I'm going to go back to my other characters. Um, I haven't been on these characters, like seriously playing on these characters in months, but I don't mind. I just like how Warlock plays. So so yeah. And you know, people can complain about how Warlock plays or how the Guardians play in general. But because the main thing I heard is about the power spam and no one uses weapons anymore. So for me, I just think if you're tired of seeing the ability spam, don't use your abilities as much. Play how you want to play. If I want to ability spam, I can because it's my character. But if you're tired of seeing it in the game, then don't ability spam. Like there are no rules. It just seems like we're complaining about these rules that are completely made up. And if Bungie thinks that we're going overboard, they'll nerf it. They usually do. They're nerfing stuff in the June 9th update, which is ridiculous. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I wanted them to leave Graviton Lance alone. No, no, no. Mm-mm. It's like we almost escaped. You guys aren't gonna do anything with the game anymore. Why are you nerfing nerfing weapons? Oh my goodness. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I was kind of all over the place, but I got my thoughts out and I will see you next time. Everybody take care.